I did not find the website by looking for it. It found me. At exactly 2:17 a.m., my screen refreshed on its own. There was no mouse movement, no keyboard input, and no warning at all. A new tab opened with a black background, white text, and no visible URL bar. The only thing on the screen was a single sentence, blinking slowly, almost like a heartbeat. You were not supposed to see this. I assumed it was malware, or maybe a prank, the kind of thing people warn you about when they talk about the dark web, but never actually encounter. I was reaching for the power button when my phone vibrated. It was not a call, and it was not a text. It was a photo. The image showed my apartment from behind me, my desk, my chair, my shoulders hunched forward. The timestamp read 2:18 a.m., exactly 1 minute in the future. Before I could process that, another message appeared on my screen. It told me to pack a bag, not tell anyone, and go to Denver. Union Station, Locker 417. Then one final line appeared. You have already been chosen. I should have closed the laptop instead. I grabbed my keys. I was on a plane to Denver 12 hours later. I did not tell anyone where I was going, and I did not even shut down my laptop. I wrapped it in a towel and stuffed it into my backpack, like it might wake up if I was not careful. Union Station was crowded and loud, painfully normal compared to what I had just experienced. Locker 417 sat at the far end of the corridor, near the restrooms, scratched and dented, like it had been opened too many times. Inside was a burner phone and a folded piece of paper. There were no words on it, just a hand-drawn map of the United States, covered in red dots marking cities and highways. Beneath the map, written over and over, pressed so hard it tore the paper, was a single phrase: we buried it deep. The burner phone buzzed almost immediately. The message said I was early, and that was good. That was the moment I realized this was not something made for me personally. It had been waiting for whoever stumbled into it next. The next message included coordinates outside Cheyenne, Wyoming, along with a warning telling me to trust the tunnels and not the signs. I rented a car and drove through the night. Every time I passed one of the red dots from the map, the radio cut out and dissolved into static. Beneath the static was a quiet clicking sound. Slow, rhythmic, like something counting. Near dawn, I found a rusted maintenance hatch hidden beneath an abandoned rest stop. It was unmarked, partially buried, and it opened from the inside. That should have stopped me. It did not. The tunnel below was reinforced concrete, wide enough for vehicles. Thick cables ran along the walls, humming softly. Symbols were painted every few hundred feet, not graffiti, but markers. Deliberate, consistent, halfway through. I heard footsteps behind me, Act 3 Thovey allies and warnings. I did not turn around. A woman's voice told me to relax, and said that if they wanted me dead, I would not have made it past Denver. Her name was Mara. She said she had been following the same map for 3 years, and that there were dozens of others like us. People nudged, tricked, or pulled into the tunnels without fully understanding why. She told me America had far more underground infrastructure than most people realized, and that most of it did not officially exist. She pointed to a date carved into the tunnel wall, 2032, then another 2047, then one that had been violently scratched out. She said something had changed this year, and that whatever had been buried was starting to matter again. We surfaced days later inside a decommissioned missile silo in Utah. That was where we met Eli. He claimed to be a former government contractor and said the tunnels were not designed for war, but for containment. He showed us schematics and overlapping maps that stretched from coast to coast, all connected beneath the surface. He said everything underground had been built to hide something humanity could not destroy. When I asked what it was, he said, "You do not name things like that. You catalog them." That night, I saw Eli sending messages on a device that should not have had a signal. I did not confront him. I should have. The next base, beneath Nevada, was still active, but completely empty. Lights were on, Systems were running, and recordings played arguments from decades ago about relocation, exposure, and cycles. At the center was a vault labeled Archive Node 0. Eli pulled a gun. Eli admitted that some people were chosen to find the system, while others were chosen to guard it. He said opening the archive would reset the cycle and undo everything they had worked to control. Gunshots echoed through the base. Alarms screamed. Mara tackled him before he could fire again, and the lights shifted red as something behind the steel door moved. Mara hesitated. I did not. I opened the archive. Inside was not a monster. It was a record. Timelines. Disasters quietly prevented or allowed. History nudged in specific directions. Someone had been steering civilization for a very long time, and they were still active. The final file was labeled Recruitment Phase in Progress. My name was listed. So was Mara S. Eli. S. name was marked Compromised. When the alarm stopped, Eli was gone. There was no body, just words burned into the wall, telling us we had opened the wrong door. We surfaced weeks later in Pennsylvania. The burner phone rang once and then died. The map in my bag had changed, showing new red dots and new tunnels. There was one final note, written in unfamiliar handwriting. Phase 1 complete. I do not know who is running the system, and I do not know if they are human. But they are still building, and whatever is buried under America is not staying buried. Because an hour ago, I got another message. The same black screen, the same blinking cursor. If you are reading this, we need you again. This time, it came with a countdown.